Welcome to Spybrary, by spy fans, for spy fans, with Shane Whaley. Shane dives into the mystery and intrigue of spy books and movies, both fact and fiction, delivering reviews and interviews with authors, historians, intelligence experts, and spy fans. He discusses everything from John le Carré, Len Dayton, Ian Fleming, Tom Clancy, Brad Thor, and many more. If you love spy books and movies, keep listening. This podcast is for you. This is Spybrary.
Hey, fellow Spybrarians, Jeff Gelb here from Los Angeles, recording this at the suggestion of Shane Whaley, our Spybrary founder and chief. He asked me if I might share a few thoughts on Andy East. I just found out today that Andy passed away very suddenly last November of a heart attack. Andy and I go back to the early 1980s when he wrote a wonderful overview of 1960s spy fiction called The Cold War File, which was published by a company called Scarecrow Press. Hopefully you could still get a copy of it through Amazon or elsewhere, maybe eBay. It's an amazing overview of 1960s spy fiction that includes bibliographies, it includes character references, it includes descriptions of the novels of the various forgotten super spies of the 1960s, as I like to say. Everybody from Nick Carter to Mark Hood to, of course, Ian Fleming's famous character and dozens of others. It's really an amazing research book. When that book came out, I found myself in the position of trying to reach Andy, which I was able to do through his publisher, and that started a near 40-year correspondence between the two of us. He lived in Louisville, Kentucky. I live in Los Angeles. We never met. We talked on the phone briefly a couple of times, but most of our friendship came through letters and then, of course, emails, and then finally through Facebook. Andy was a loner. He was not married. I don't think he had a lot of friends. He worked at a funeral parlor. And his great love in life was spy fiction and the entire spy genre as it relates to various media. We kept in touch about all things related to spies for decades. And he always wanted to do a second book, and he finally did it. It was his overview of the Euro spy movies of the 1960s. I know there have been other books that did the same thing, but this would have had Andy's unique stamp on it. And it was bought by McFarland, but I don't know whether the book is completely finished or whether it'll ever come out. I hope to find that out in the next few days, and I will share that information when I do. But here's the thing about Andy. He, much like many of us, never found his niche in life beyond his interests in spy fiction and spy memorabilia and spy cinema. But he loved very much, and he engaged in 110%. So when he brought that expertise and his love of spy fiction and spy movies to sites like Spybrary and a few other Facebook sites about spy movies and stuff, you always learned something when Andy shared it because he had this wealth of information inside him. And so that was the bond, that was the glue between myself and Andy for those near 40 years. And his loss, anybody's loss, of course, is massive to the world. Andy's loss to us is massive because we'll never again hear his insights, his wisdom, his little bits of information about spy books and movies that he always brought to the table when we were discussing these things in Spybrary. Spybrary was really extended family for Andy, as I believe it has become for many of us, if not all of us. And once again, hats off, bowler hat off to Shane Whaley for creating this group. I think it's quite magical. I think it drew and continues to draw people from all over the world who share Andy's great love of all things related to the spy genre. So thank you, Shane, for giving people like Andy and myself and so many others the opportunity to enjoy ourselves in the company of like-minded people. Very much appreciated. I know Andy loved Spybrary, and all of you. Take care. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Spybrary podcast. You don't have to wait for the next episode. Join the conversation happening now at facebook.com/Spybrary and on Twitter @Spybrary.